What is up, YouTube? Brute Cactus here, back at you guys with another video. Today we're going to be getting into my Sultai Hydras, or more like green-blue with a small splash of black for 4 cards. I've been piloting this deck since I started playing, since I opened an M13 Fat Pack back in 2014. And this deck has gone through a lot of different versions, but we're going to jump down to the below section and check out what I have brewed up and what I've come to enjoy in my build. I definitely have an interesting build. A lot of people say it shouldn't work, but for me, definitely does. So with that being said, we're going to jump down to the below section and let's get this started. Alright guys, let's jump into this bottom section. Let's kick it off with the green creatures, like I do normally in my videos. So this list has 8 mana Dorks. I kind of have come to the realization that 8 is perfect. I was originally doing 6, then I was bumping to 9, then to 8, then to 4. 8's just perfect, especially when you've got the 2 original, Elvish Mystic and Line of War Elves. I could just run a full 4 and then 1, but I felt like the 5 of the 1-drops was perfect, and then the 3 copies of the Icilian Caryatid was perfect because you're not always going to get the 2 mana off of its effect. So I figured 3's perfect. I'll see it when I need it, see it when I don't. That's it for the mana Dorks. We're going to get into the other creatures, like the helpful creatures of the green, which is just 2 copies of Renata. She's perfect for a blocker and to get your stuff super big. You don't necessarily run her in here for the devotion aspect, but she can get pretty big on the power side of things. So when you've got her and you've got a bunch of green creatures on the board, she's massive and can help you just pick off other stuff on your opponent's side of the field. So that's it for the helpful creatures. Now into the Hydra aspect. This is kind of a Hydra tribal-esque type build, so you'll see what I'm talking about. We've got 2 Mana Gorger Hydra. This thing is amazing. Makes it to where your opponents don't want to play spells unless they're going to kill this. So this thing's fantastic. And we've got 1 copy of Hero's Bane. I've played with 2 copies of this for the longest time and never really cared for it. Yes, I have gotten this thing to error 3 calculators trying to figure out its power and toughness, but that was just because my opponent wanted to see how big we could get this thing, and that's it. Realistically, I've gotten it to a 2,000 because my opponent kept tapping it down with a Citadel Siege, but other than that, realistically, you're only going to get this to like maybe a 2020, if that. So that's it for that. And then 2 Mistcutter. You literally could change this out for any Hydra you wanted, but I play Mistcutter because I play against blue sometimes, and this just makes it to where I have a guaranteed swing in and a guaranteed creature on board. Plus, this thing can get pretty big on its own if you're not playing against blue, so it is a force to reckon with. And then we've got 2 of my favorite Hydra of all time, and one of my favorite cards of all time. Sultai Hydra. You could throw a third one of this in here. I just don't have a third one, and I'm not willing to spend the $15 on it. This thing's disgusting. Once you have 10 or more counters on it, it's got trample, and this thing doubles really quickly with another card in the deck that we will get to when we get to the multicolor creatures. But for now, let's finish up the green, and that's it for the creatures. We're going to jump into the Planeswalkers. I've got one copy of Nissa Who Shakes the World. Nissa Who Shakes the World is super good for this deck, and I've been trying to find a second copy to put in this deck, like a place for it, but right now there's just no room the way the deck is. Maybe later down the road I can find a spot for it, but we've got two Nissa Worldwaker. This is by far my favorite Planeswalker to ever come out. This is one of the reasons I wanted to build this deck, along with the Sultai Hydra. This card just basically says that all my creatures, or all my lands, become creatures, and I can summon stuff out way bigger with its untapped 4 target forests. That comes in a lot. And then the -7, you wouldn't believe how many times I've gotten it off and killed an opponent with all the lands that I can summon in this deck. So, super good card. That's it for the Planeswalkers. There's not really a lot in this deck. You don't really need a lot, so just 3 is perfect. And then for the Sorceries, we've got 3 Seek the Wilds. It just basically helps you go tutor for stuff you need, kind of off the top of your deck, and it helps you just ramp quicker. Super good card. I've played with 2, I've played with 4. 3 is just perfect because I see it when I need it, and I don't see it when I don't need it. So that's it for the green cards. No instances, no enchantments, no nothing like that. We're going to jump into the blue of the deck. The blue is very, very, very control heavy. You need to be able to get your Hydras out, and control is the way to do it. So we're going to start off with all the counter spells. We've got 2 counterspell. Counterspell is super amazing. My favorite counterspell in the whole entire game. Just super good for 2 blue. You can have that turn 2 if you need to, or turn 3 if you need to. You can always have this up. And then 2 Syncopate, a way better counterspell than counterspell, but not my favorite. This card just turns heads. My opponents get super mad that I play this, so I really love this card. And then we've got 2 copies of Logic Knot. The option to be able to delve your cards is not really good. You just got to be careful when you delve your cards. If you've got one of the Hydras that we play in here on the field, you don't want to be using this. But other than that, this spell is amazing. You could just leave up 2 blue mana and then a bunch of cards in the graveyard, and always make sure your opponent cannot stop this from going off. So, super good. The reason I play the ratio that I do of the 2/2/2 is because I want a diverse range of counter spells that I can play against my opponent at any time. I want to be able to at least have one that I can play any given time that I need it. So, super good. I wouldn't change up the counterspell lineup, period. That's it for the blue cards. Like I said, it's super control oriented. And then we do play 1 mono black card in the deck, and that's an Essence Harvest. What this does is you target a player and it loses X life, and then you gain X life, where X is the greatest power among creatures. We get some insanely big Hydras on board, so this can just win a game. I didn't want to have this as the main win condition of the deck, so that's why there's only 1 in the deck. I guess if you do want to run this as the main win condition of the deck, you can throw a second copy or a third copy in the deck, whatever you feel is necessary, but I just wanted the 1. That's it for the mono black. Now into the multicolored. This is probably the bread and butter of the deck, other than the Hydras of the green. and that is Pelucranos Unchained. Super good card. It normally comes out as a 6/6, and then comes out as a 12/12 when you use its escape cost for 4 colorless and a black and a green. That's what I was saying with the Logic Knot. You don't want to be delving when you're trying to go this route of the game. But this can also come out as a 12/12 with another card that we play, which is Corpsejack's Menace. You only need 2. That 4 cost is a little steep when you're trying to cast other Hydras for huge, but let me tell you, if you can summon this first, and then you can play a Primordial Hydra for 1, that Primordial Hydra just gets massive, because they have to deal with this first before they deal with the Primordial Hydra. So this card is by far my favorite multicolored black-green creature, and that's another reason I built this deck. Then you've got 2 copies of Prophet of Kruphix. You might have seen this in my other deck profile of Sultai Aristocrats. If you haven't checked out that video, please go ahead and look at my click on my name down below, and it'll take you to all my videos so you can check that out. This card is unbelievable at what it can do. It basically makes it to where you have a turn ahead on certain Hydras in the deck, like your Hero's Bane, your Primordial Hydra, stuff like that. It makes it to where they can double way quicker than they should be able to, because you play them on your opponent's end step. They come into your turn and they're doubled already. So, super good. That's it for the creatures of the multicolored. We're going to jump into the rest of the spells for the multicolor, which is just 1, and that's 2 copies of Sultai Charm. Sultai Charm is amazing. It basically says that you can go draw if you need to, destroy enchantments if you need to, artifacts if you need to, and monocolored creatures. So it's kind of like your board wipe of the deck in a way, but I normally just use it for drawing. This deck is slightly slower than most decks in Modern right now, so that's why this deck, that's why this card is in here. That's it for the non-land cards. We're going to jump into the land cards. It is a weird land setup, so let's get into it. We've got 3 copies of Opulent Place, or Opulent Palace. I just felt like this was the best land to play. You could play the new land from the newest set, Ikoria, the land that is a swamp, forest, and an island, but that is definitely not needed in this deck. I mean, it would be cool for the aspect of the cycling. So I do not have copies of those, but that's what they would be. They'd be the triomes. Then we've got 2 copies of Thornwood Falls and 2 copies of Dismal Backwater. These can be any dual lands you guys want, but I think these are perfect. That life gain definitely helps, but they could be any dual land. And then for the basics, we've got 8 forest, we've got 5 islands, and 3 swamp. I've played around with this ratio of basics for a while now, and this is perfect. 8, 5, and 3 is the best ratio that I've ever come up with. Perfect, smooth. Plus, it's enough for you to go get with your Nisa, so that you can sit there and game opponents with it, because you don't want to have too little of basics so that you can't go search off your Nisa if that's the route you're taking to win. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about this deck profile. Always looking for feedback on cards that I can play that I'm not aware of, or even if I am aware of, would be cool for the help. So with that being said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give a thumbs up to this video if you found it helpful. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.